तुम यहीं रहना, तकू ये बना।
Good morning. Am I audible?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes. Good morning, everyone. So let us welcome Dr. Pilli sir for the session 1. Dr. Pill, he will be taking basics of IoT. He is currently Dr. Pilli is associate professor in Department of Computer Science and Engineering at MNIT Jaipur. He has done MTech in Computer Science from Birla Institute of Technology, Ranchi in 2001. He has done PhD from IIT Roorkee for his thesis on a framework for network forensic analysis in 2012. He has been awarded the IZIA Fellowship by the Department of Information Technology, Government of India for his research in information security. He has over 20 plus years of teaching, research, and administrative experience. Presently, he is the head of department of CSE in MNIT Jaipur since June 2019. He is the coordinator for the E&ICT Academy hosted at MNIT and is sponsored by Ministry of Electronics and IT, Government of India. He has guided 3 PhD theses, 26 MTech dissertations, around 35 BTech projects. Currently, he is guiding 13 PhD and 4 MTech students in the areas of his interest: security, forensic, cloud computing, big data, and IoT. He has 75 years in 75 plus papers in international journals and conferences of repute. His the publications include in the IEEE transactions on cloud computing. He has co-authored a book, Fundamentals of Networks Forensic, a research perspective for Springer. He is the senior member of IEEE, and he is the founder member of the cloud computing. He is the founder member of Cloud Computing Innovation Council of India. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Rakshit. So, shall I begin? Am I audible?
Yes, sir. You are audible, sir.
Sharing is disabled. Can I? I am the host.
Yes.
Still, that sharing is not.
Yes, sir. It is enabled now, sir.
Yes, yes, yes. Yes. Yeah, a very good morning to all of you, and it's a joy for me to present this talk before you. And I would like to also mention a slight change of plan because tomorrow we are having a big inauguration program in MNIT Jaipur regarding 56 what is called 56 lecture hall complex. Which we are dedicating for the nation tomorrow. So I think there is some meeting which is scheduled with the ministry. So I'll just be leaving for some time. Post lunch we will have a detailed lecture. So maybe today, in the initial starting time, we will have a brief introduction. then we will have a break for lunch at 12 o'clock. And then we'll come back at, I think, 2 o'clock is what Parikshit sir was telling, or 2 or 2:30, whatever be the convenient time for you, you let me know. From there, we will try to complete the entire content that I was supposed to deliver with a break in between, maybe. Okay. I hope that that adjustment is okay for you because of some last moment emergency that is there, right? So let us try to understand what is Internet of Things. If we look at what is Internet of Things, or where do these words come from? If you look at these two terms, Internet and things, right? So that is what is made of. That is what makes Internet of Things, right? So Internet, as we know, is a network of networks, which is formed by combining few networks. And Internet is the medium by which we are able to connect across the world. Earlier, if you wanted to talk to somebody, you could somebody in another country, you would send a fax message, or you would send what is called a telegram, or write an telegram. But now you are able to just connect within a few seconds. You are able to send images, videos, text messages, SMS, WhatsApp, and variety of applications are there. And you're able to talk to others over FaceTime or Skype or Zoom. And all these are facilitated because of this Internet. And earlier, Internet was connecting computers. So that was all the things that were there were only computer nodes which were connected across the Internet. So you had to use a computer only. Now you have a mobile phone which can be connected, and in that sense, anything can be connected. So how are the things? What are the things that are the things that can be connected is a question. So before that, in fact, where did these things arrive from, or where is these things? Where are the things started, or how is it come? Is Internet of Things a new technology, or a new thing? And in fact, when we are coming from an agriculture perspective, in the morning introduction, Professor Vyas has very rightly explained, and he told that IoT is extensively used in agriculture. And what we are trying to do in this course is try to understand how we are able to use the Internet of Things in agriculture. So that's a big learning because worldwide a lot of technology is used. In fact, Internet of Things is another name you can talk about for sensor networks or sensors. The things here can be thought of as sensors, right? So a lot of sensors are used. If you look at some of the important aspects of a crop, it needs a lot of water and controlled water, right? So there can be a sensor which can control the time and which can control the amount of water that is going. It can also measure the moisture. It can measure the level of water content within the land, and accordingly adjust the amount of that water that is flowing, right? So that is one thing. Then spraying of fertilizers, maybe the whole thing can be controlled by sensors. How much is being thrown at what is the amount of infested area, what is being infected, where there are more worms, or some of these what is eating into the crops. So go there and trying to provide that. And then you can also look at variety of aspects as we look at maybe the kind of germs that are coming. So maybe we can have some devices which can take a picture, or maybe a camera which can actually take images of how the crops are growing, and accordingly you try to identify what are the things which are happening. So this is a kind of a thing. So whenever I start with this lecture of Internet of Things, I try to bring in a small example because what we are trying to do is we are trying to understand how Internet of Things will actually help the agriculture, right? So maybe if you look at how Internet of Things will actually make our life easy is also a big question. So when you talk about Internet of Things, maybe if you are actually trying to think of your own day's schedule, you're woken up by an alarm clock, and you have already programmed the day for you. Before you sleep, you would have set some time for the alarm, and many times you are not able to get up at the required time. But if there is a program which runs to increase the volume of your alarm as the time gets late, right? So For the first 15 seconds, it comes at a particular sound. Then after that, it increases the volume. Then it increases the volume. Then it increases the volume. Then the intensity will definitely wake you up. And by the time you wake up, you know that you enter the washroom and there is hot water already ready for you, because there is a correlation between an alarm and between your geyser, right? And the geyser knows it. You don't have to get up and switch on the geyser and wait for the hot water, because the alarm clock or your mobile phone's alarm and the geyser is automatically tuned. And by the time you go, things are ready, and then okay, you get ready, and then you trying to go near the car. By the time your shutter is open by itself, all right, and when you're going out of the door of your house, the door gets locked, and kind of an alarm system is activated. You are not actually locking, and you're not using any keys. You're just walking out of the door, and in fact, while you're reaching the door opens by itself, and once you go out, the door closes by itself and locks by itself, and the house is sealed. So just imagine this kind of a system, right? And when you come near the gate opens, the gate closes, or the gate slides like this, and then it slides off once you go out. By the time you reach the car, the AC is on, the car is on, and you've got in, and you are hearing more of these what is called automated cars or driverless cars, and then you sit into the car, and the car starts off. The car knows where you are going, because your schedule is already set. You may be going to the office or something, and on the screen, instead of seeing the traffic, you're actually seeing your emails. Okay, and then you are answering the emails, and you are actually speaking and making a comparison, making instructions, and then you make this booking, or you make this, give replies to emails, while and you are updated the notes, your garage closes by itself. You don't have to pull it down and lock it. So this is a kind of an environment. And finally, you reach the office. You go into the office, and then by the time you are going in, because you don't have to swipe your card to mark your attendance, the moment you are entering into your office, the door opens. It recognizes, gives you a welcome message. Once you enter your room, the lights are on by themselves, and then you sit before your computer. Computer turns on, because by the time you have entered the main gate, the computer in your office has started. Okay, by the time you reach, the welcome screen is there, and once you sit before, there is an iris scan which is done, and then you log into your computer, and the computer gives you a schedule of the things that you have to do. And then suddenly you are having some pressure of the work, and then you are feeling a little depressed. So there is a light music which comes in, playing at the background, and maybe you are feeling a little sweaty, and then you're doing like this. So immediately the air conditioner turns on to an optimum temperature, and then maybe you're feeling cold, so it gets switched off. So all these kinds of things, if it happens without any of our human interaction, right, what a wonderful life it is. We all dream of such things, and these are going to happen, and these are already happening in many of the countries, and then they are happening in India also. As we see, a lot of things are getting automated. Maybe you go to the airports, and you are using water, and then you place your hand, the water comes, you remove the hand, the water stops. What is this? They are all basically the concepts of Internet of Things, which are actually working. Of course, maybe they are not all connected to Internet. Sometimes when you step into a washroom, suddenly the exhaust fan starts. What is actually happening? When nobody is there in the toilet, right? The exhaust fan is switched off. Right, wonderful. And when somebody goes in, immediately it turns on. And everybody leaves, it scans the whole room. Okay, nobody is there, it turns off. No, water is saved, electricity is saved. Right? In one of the Jaipur hotels, I entered into a hotel, and then I was going in the lift. And in the lift also, you have seen the closest lift comes. There are 4 lifts in a hotel. You press one button, all the 4 lifts get activated, and you would have seen it in most of the hospitals and most of the hotels, or any of these big offices where there are lifts which you are using. There may be 4 or 8 lifts which are there, but you press one of them, all the lifts get activated, and the closest lift actually comes to you. So all the lifts are actually working in sync. Okay, what lifts which are going up will go in one direction, the other lifts which are coming, they will come in the same direction. They won't stop and come back, right? And if one is going up, it will go up only. So that's the kind of an architecture which is built, and it facilitates in the overall running. You see that it is the best model, and then you are directed to the nearest lift that you can. So what is happening? There is a lot of energy which is saved, right? So if you are pressing the same button which is going and coming down and you're waiting, so you're actually wasting time. But if they're all working in coordination, the nearest lift comes down and helps you, right? So in that sense of saving of energy. So I stepped into one of the Jaipur hotels. It's about 10 floors or something. So I went in and then I moved in, and then when the lift opened, it was pitch dark. So I saw, "Arey yaar, what is such a nice hotel, and how come there is no lighting?" So the moment I stepped out, thinking that okay, somebody will help or let me turn on my mobile torch. The moment I put my feet outside the lift, all the lights were on. I was like surprised. But then I turned the other side and I identified the room side. Look, I had to go on the right hand side. So what happens as I turned to the right, all my lights behind me got switched off. And as I was walking, one light behind me was getting switched off. Wonderful. And once I entered my friend's room, whom I wanted to meet, and I went into the room, all lights were off again. And then I was inside and talking with my. Similarly, when I stepped out again out of my friend's room, all lights were off. The moment I put my leg outside, all lights were on before me, and then I was going like that. So, what is actually happening? There's a huge saving which is actually happening. Otherwise, in the hotel, what happens? All the lights are on, always, 24 hours, because the people are moving, coming, going always. So, but then just calculate the amount of energy that is saved if I can make like this. Just understand the amount of water that gets wasted in an agriculture, the amount of fertilizer that gets wasted when it is sprayed, the amount of if the I went on an AICT what is called an investigation, not an investigation team. It was an inspection team. Okay, there was an award for the best smart campus, right? It was a smart campus award. So I went on that smart campus award, and I was visiting various institutions in Bangalore and other cities, right? And we went, and then people said we are smart. You save a lot of time on attendance. Most of us are teachers here, and we all struggle with the attendance, right? And how are they saving the attendance? There was one institution which was so smart. They put a camera while students are entering. The camera is scanning and then marking the attendance. In one, it was still I thought difficult a little bit, but there was one institute which was giving a kind of what is called a smart card reader kind of a thing, right? Or a biometric, a mobile biometric device was given. So every teacher, when he goes, he collects that. When he goes to the class, he collects that from the head of the department. First punches his attendance. He has to also present, and then goes and gives it to the class. So everybody in the class, they take the attendance one by punching. While the class is going on, this can be done. And at the end, that the teacher carries it back and gives it to the head of the department or the office, and the office gives it to the next teacher. So just imagine so much of time saved. Otherwise, we're calling out names for 5 minutes, and a lot of proxy attendance is given. Here, biometric, and absolutely no problem. So, and even the teacher, if he wants to make an adjustment, if he wants to miss a class, it will be very difficult, because the whole system will show how many classes were taken, how many classes were missed, how many classes attendance was not taken. So in this case, life becomes so easy, and life becomes very difficult also. Of course, now all teachers will have to take all classes, and all students and everybody's what do you call, the attendance is actually coming out, and it's all logged. So there's a lot of quality improvement. There's a lot of time which is saved, a lot of energy which is saved. So that is where Internet of Things is coming from. But of course, there is a cost which is involved in this. And initially, this technology was called maybe ubiquitous computing or pervasive computing, where a lot of these devices are coming together. And there's a lot of technologies which are coming here. Low power devices are the basic strength of Internet of Things. Low power devices. The 5G technology or 4G, in fact, now moving to 5G technology is another strength. The low power protocols like 6LoWPAN, then you have the 802.15.4. So all these protocols have also come in. The routing protocol, RPL, maybe COAP, and I will share some of those things a little later, right? So I think let's venture into this Internet of Things without wasting much time. Let me just see how much of introduction I can give you. Introduction, evolution, characteristics, architectures, the components, some applications, and some challenges, right? So that will be kind of introduction. Then I will discuss some protocols and some devices that will help you to understand how I can use Internet of Things. This will be more on the computer science part, more on the networks part of the workshop. this is kind of introduction to understand how Internet of Things will actually help you in making smart agriculture. So that's the vision of the workshop that we will do. How our technology can impact a society. And Internet of Things, as you see, is heavily used in healthcare, right? IoT healthcare. In fact, they call it what is called Internet of Healthcare Things, right? IOHT. IoT has moved into IOHT. In fact, people are talking about Internet of Everything, right? You think of anything, people are thinking of internet, connecting internet or bringing everything online. Okay, so that's something which we can look at, right? Internet of Everything. And in fact, these advantages, as you see, of earlier, if you are booking an auto or booking a bike, or maybe now these days, you know how far this fellow is. When that auto fellow will reach you, you can book all these things because of the facility of the sensors which are put on the cars, or the bus is coming. You booked a bus, a Volvo bus or something, and you're traveling from Delhi to Jaipur, or you want to travel from Jaipur to somewhere. You know where the bus is. You know how far, if it is coming from some other place. You know when it will reach the destination, because you're able to see the map and showing where the bus is coming. If your friend is coming from somewhere, you're able to talk to your friend and say, "Arey, please send me your location. I will reach your place, and then we can talk to you." So this kind of thing that we can try to look at, right? So this is what is Internet of Things as we look at. As we connect to these, so there are the lower level is basically the devices, or in fact, where is Internet of Things coming from? It is coming from sensors, right? It is coming from the low power devices, or the digital devices, or the smaller what is called sensing elements, which actually sense this information and create what is called the digital layer, maybe a mobile phone, or maybe a wireless device, or maybe a heart monitoring system, or maybe a television, or a computer monitor, or a microwave. All these are kinds of devices, maybe a switch or a router. These are all the kind of elements which are there at the lowest level, which are sensing information. Okay, and then the next level, you are connecting them to the network. Okay, that is what is the internet. So either through a Wi-Fi, or through a mobile phone, or any of these devices. Just give me a minute. Afternoon, sir.
क्या काम कर रही मेरे बेटे?
Sir.
जैसे होमवर्क यहाँ पर भर के देती है जो टीचर, कंप्लीट देती है, तो थोड़ा गलत।
Sir, I'm just coming. Yes. Okay. So let us stop here. I'm sorry for the break. Director has called, so I'm just reaching in. I will reach there, and we will resume at 2 o'clock. I think that is what will be. So hopefully, I'll share these slides also once the lecture is over, right? Okay, thank you so much. Sorry for the inconvenience today. Afternoon, we will continue. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Sorry, sir.
Thank you, sir. So we'll meet again at 2 p.m.